It's about almost 11. Well, it's the last round of. If you've been following what I've been up to, I've been trying to finish up the last batch of some ribbons. That's actually a really cool light I use for seeing everything. So I've got my last batch of R144s that it came in a while ago. There's a long story long to what I've been up to. So my new studio is up and going, and now I have a chance to really finish all these. But by finishing all these, it now opens up the conversation that I've offered my friends and producers. And like I said, I'm based out of Los Angeles. I'm a music producer. I've also, of the last few years, had a passion for re-ribboning mics, and in doing so, learning a lot about ribbons. And they're really expensive, and some of them are not. This is one that isn't. But I've been doing a lot of these for different friends. Aaron Espinosa from a place called Chip Studios, he's gotten maybe 4 or 5 of these from me. I redid Granddaddy. He has a ribbon mic he uses a lot. I've done it for him. And like I've mentioned, also I've done stuff for some of the members that are touring right now with Nine Inch Nails, St. Vincent, Beck. I've done those. Some of those are Buyer 160s, 500s, 230s, and RCAs, 44s. I mean, I've done a slew of microphones. If you even follow me in some of my older videos, you're going to see me do probably one of the oldest ribbon mics. So today we're talking about the R144. This is a mic that you can get at Sweetwater right now, brand new, for I think it's $99. And you could hold on a second. Oh, someone's getting me coffee. What's going on, Common Time? Wow, I just got, and I was gonna say, even anybody want to hook me up with a Pellegrino? I don't drink, I don't do drugs, but I definitely sparkling water and coffee is my drug. Oh man, thank you so much. That's way cool. So today, last night or 2 days ago, I did a video on nadies, and I want to do one now on the R44. So you can get this on Sweetwater, and I will just say that once I get into the nitty gritty of this, I'll explain a few things to you. And once again, thank you for the $10 for the coffee, man. I appreciate it. These are definitely times of being an artist, and I don't have another job. This is what I do. I'm a producer, but my passion is actually what I'm going to be sharing with you. I have a ribbon mic that it's going to be coming out soon. I've already designed it. It's actually about to go into manufacturing right now. It's OGMC. In the last video I did regarding the nadies, you can find all my information in there, but I'll make sure when I go back to this video, because it's live, I'll try to put some of my contact information in there. You can find me on Instagram, Manny's Mic Locker. My company is called Original GravityWave Microphone Company, which is OGMC. And actually, where do I have those at? Oh, these are little stickers I put on the mics after I get done. There's OGMC. And I do thank you for your support. I'll be honest with you, these are a passion. So what I was saying about these is you can buy these on Sweetwater for 99 bucks. I'll give you my information, and if you contact me about getting these, I can give you my P.O. box, and this way you can ship it from Sweetwater free. Now, this is only for Los Angeles. I'm sorry, this is not for Los Angeles. Well, I'm in Los Angeles. This is only for the United States that I can offer. So what I usually do, it's $250 for me to get these microphones, upgrade them, make them sound amazing, and then I ship them back to you. I ship them back to you for free. I'll cover the insurance for the cost of the mic and the upgrade. And so basically that's why I'm letting you know, if you're interested in one, you can contact me. I'll leave my details here. And then what I do then is you then could get my P.O. box, order from Sweetwater, and they send this directly to me for free. So I'm trying to save you a little bit of money. And then, like I said, on the back end, I will cover you on all the shipping and all the insurance to make this more affordable as possible for you. And once again, it's definitely something that as a producer, if you're getting started out and you don't have $1,200 to buy ribbon, this is an easy way to get into it with the confidence that after I've done upgrading this, which I'll show you some of it right now, this mic will sound like definitely an $800 to $1,200 ribbon mic after I'm done with it. So I've already started this and I'm going live because I just thought, well, it's late here in LA and I just want to make sure I can do something with my life that's positive. So I've already started to take this apart. Speaking of parts, there are some of the parts right there, and I'll explain to you what I've already removed. And so I'm kind of, instead of going reversal on this, I'm just going to show you what's actually going on. Let's see here. Someone wrote me a comment. So this ribbon mic is actually 100 bucks. Yes, this mic cost $100 from Sweetwater. Once you buy it, what's up, Chris? Christopher. Once you buy the microphone for $99, if you can contact me, I'll give you my P.O. box. You can ship it for free from Sweetwater to me. And like I said, I'm $250 to get this mic and upgrade it. But in trying to save you some money, I'll pay for the shipping back to you as long as it's the United States. And I'll have it fully insured for the cost of what you paid for the upgrade and the cost of the microphone. So this way, you know, anything happens to the microphone or it gets destroyed in the mail, you're covered. And also, once you've gotten a ribbon mic done with me, let's say you take it home and by accident you put it through some phantom power and it blows or something. I usually just charge shipping and it's 30 bucks and I'll put a new ribbon in it for life. So just, you know, if you get one of these from me and you blow it as soon as you get it, or after a year or so you've really blown it out, I will definitely hook you up with this microphone for postage and $30 to change the ribbon. All right, so back to the brass tacks. This is one of those R44. It's brand new. Just got it out of the box. This is actually going to, I think, Costa Rica. There was 2 of them that came in, and these are the last of the few that I have left. So, Ricardo, this is coming to you, and I'm filming it. So it's kind of like, you know, I'm doing it. Let's see, people saying something. We want a Manny ribbon mic. Oh, man, me too. I wish I can talk a little bit more about it, but I will say this. I can definitely say this. When this mic comes out, not only will it be an insane ribbon, but I don't think there's another mic on earth that was made like this mic. And without explaining any more than that, when it does come out, I'll share it with you. But definitely when we premiere it at NAMM or AES or wherever we go to, I'm going to be ripped off. People are going to get it, and it's going to be the coolest thing ever on microphone. So, and also the mic I'm making will all be made in Southern California, which is crazy. I mean, nothing will, this is purely Chinese, probably assembled. I think it's assembled in like Redondo Beach or something. Definitely all Chinese, but I will say, the quality of this head basket, a lot of US companies can't make this, because Chinese have gotten all the tooling and all the technology to do all the metal work on these, and cheap and affordable. So that's why, like, a lot of companies, I'm not going to say their names, they're really big American companies now, they send out all their stuff to get made in China because they have the machinery to do it. All right, so let me make sure I got everybody going on. Jahoti, what's up? Matt, Italy, my God, is it morning for you? Everyone, thanks for tuning in. We're about to get into the nitty gritty. Oh, one other thing too, my watch. This is a very handsome watch. This is a Casio watch. I'm not trying to sell this. I don't get anything from it. But these were like, they used to be $30 when you could buy them from China. I don't know what they are now, but it's a Casio. Very handsome watch, very durable, keeps good time. Looks like a Rolex Submariner, but it's a Casio. I just want to share that with you. Manny's about Casios and good Pellegrino. And once again, thank you for sending that 10 bucks for Common Time Productions. Thank you so much for sending that to me. That really does help me out. I'm going to give you a heart right now. Can I give you a heart? Does it give me a heart? Yep, there it is. All right. So now we're into the mic. So I've already started doing this, and I'm just showing you what I do to an MXL when I get it, and some of the shortcomings of these mics. Once again, I will say this. This microphone, as I take it apart, I've already unscrewed it. I've already started this, so you're catching me midway. I will say they're made well. Almost every ribbon mic you're ever going to get is going to have a transducer. It's going to have magnets glued to it. If this is a Royer, these magnets would be sitting on the outside of the microphone. So whenever you see those little wings on the microphone, it's the magnets. This is Chinese. So like I said, there's 2 screws. Let me do this. So I've already started this. So I take this apart for you. So when I get them, and I've already started this one, just going to kind of give you a little bit of a rundown of what I'm doing here. If you're just joining me, thank you. And like I said, when I do videos, I can edit out coughs and stuff, so I can't on live, so give me a second. I'm drinking some water. I don't mean to be rude. Wow, that was great. Okay, if you hear me coughing or something, it's just talking and working. So I've already unscrewed this, and the way this mic works is this little cap, you unscrew the bottom, and then you remove this. It's all one piece. There's no screws to take the body apart. Once you get into this department, there's one little notch right there, and you see the notch there. That will always tell you how this fits in. You can't really mess that up. So there's a screw right there, and you know, I'm going to do something right now. I know this is going to be weird and not to be rude. I feel like my camera lens is a little bit foggy. I'm going to see if I can actually clean this up a little bit. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Can I do it from here? Sorry about that. I know it's weird. It doesn't matter. Oh, it's a little bit better, I think. Maybe. Okay. Sorry about that. So like I said, once you get this microphone, there's only one way it's going to be sitting in there. There's 2 small screws right there. They have a little red dot on it. I think that red dot is just to say, hey, if you unscrew that and you break that red seal, they know you've opened it. But hey, we are opening this mic. So once you open it up, there was a ribbon inside there, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. And like I said, these are made in China. But if you got a Nady, a Fathead, a lot of gold, I think it's called Golden Age, all those mics, and I'm not going to say some other companies, but they're getting a lot of the parts from China because it's really difficult to make these. Like this head basket is just difficult to make. And the reason I know this is we're getting a microphone made right now, my own microphone. We are making the head basket in the United States, but like I said, it's really difficult and very expensive to get all this made. So for $99, it has all the information and right amount of gear and badassness to make this into a great mic. One thing I will notice when I'm going to show you how I'm going to make this ribbon. Let's see. Okay, so I'm checking out Sweetwater. Do I just enter your email? No, actually, do me a favor, comment time. Send me an email. My email is distortionfelix@yahoo.com, like distortion box, and then Felix, like Felix the cat. It's all one word, at yahoo.com, and I'll get that email. If you want, I'll just say my PO box. Well, actually, I don't want to say it online. Just contact me. And you can also contact me on my Instagram, Manny's Mic Locker. And then I actually have one for my mic company. If you search OGMC, either one of those, I'll get you that information. After we get done with this live video, send me an email. So distortionfelix@yahoo.com. That's actually the name of my band as well. My old band, Distortion Felix. So distortionfelix@yahoo.com, DISTORTION, F as in Frank, ELIX, like Felix the cat. Send me an email, and I'll definitely give you my PO address, probably in about 45 minutes. And you could then buy it from Sweetwater and I'll give you all the information to do that. Thank you. Actually, Felix is my middle name. I remember when I was a kid, I begged my mom not to put my middle name on the school cards, because I grew up in the 70s. So you get this little card, your teacher would get it, and she'd read your name in class. And I was like, oh my God, for God's sake, do not put Felix. Because at the time, there was a cartoon called Felix the Cat, the wonderful, wonderful cat. Oh my God. Like, and I just did not want to have that saying to me my whole childhood. Okay, so, and also, if you are going to get these, I recommend, if you can afford it, to get a pair. The reason is that this cat sent me a pair, and I'm doing both of them. They're both cut at the same time. I get to check them at the same time, and it really does work out for a pair. So once again, I'm taking this apart. I've removed it. There was 2 small screws right there. This comes out. You would have seen a ribbon inside, and I'm going to put this all back anyway, so it isn't like you're not going to see what it was. This is a plastic little piece that goes right there, held down with 2 screws. And the reason this one is plastic and then this one is brass up here, because this one that's plastic has a little strip in there. The ribbon is sandwiched between that metal strip, and then when I put this top one on and it's screwed in, it's sandwiched between this strip. That sandwiching of the ribbon keeps this side being positive, which is the red wire running to it. So the ribbon comes out positive, and it's being sandwiched between this plastic. And what it is doing is isolating it from touching this part of the mic, which will be the negative. So the ribbon lays in here. This is positive going to the transformer, and you can see this all running in here. This is an interesting thing. Like, I don't know if this is redundant, but I don't know why these wires just don't run straight to the transformer, and they have this little board in here, but that's the way they do it. This wire is red, which is positive, running to the center on the plastic. And then this one is going to sit on this brass plate, which is going to run around. Now this is going to be the negative. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a little bit of a clip. That's going to be screwed in right there. So this one gets screwed in there, which is going to be the negative. That screw goes into the body, which transforms all this into one negative wave going to the transformer. This one will be positive, but it's isolated from the transducer because it's sitting on these plastics. So this part of the ribbon will not be touching this. How that works, it's black magic. But for right now, I'll just let you know this is the positive, that is the negative. All ribbons have that. And also the polarity will be positive on this. Usually the front, and I believe this is the front, will be positive. And the rear, because it's figure 8, will be negative here. And there's another whole world of using a ribbon mic and how it's made figure 8. But this is a figure 8. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I've already removed all the stuff. I'm sorry you guys didn't see all that, but I will be coming back to do that. Let's see, comment. Okay, the magnets would be proper. Yeah, you know, the what's interesting about these is every microphone that you buy, doesn't matter if it's AEA or Royer or Coles, they'll always have a magnet. Now, only in modern designs, minus what Royer copied their mic from, usually the ribbon sits right next to the magnets. But in Coles and in AEA, some of those really, really expensive mics, this transducer, which is called the metal part of this, sits above the magnet. So the magnet, so if I had a massive magnet, I could stick it onto the bottom of this. That magnet is going to magnetize this whole area, and this technically becomes a big magnet. And you could technically then you could save and make it into a very powerful microphone. But in the old days, this would have been, so this is a neodymium magnet, which is completely modern. They're way stronger than any mic you could have gotten from a long time ago. And Alnicos would be the older magnets. So when you hear like Eddie Van Halen or guys talking about the guitars having Alnico magnets in them, that technically is almost like a microphone and a pickup, and this is symbolically almost like a pickup as well, because this negative that runs around it is almost like a humbucker. Now, if you were to modify this even more, and I was to run a wire and encompass this whole area, that could even make it more quiet. Now, that's a lot more work than I have here, but the mic, I will say, works fine as is. It's killer. Yeah, rare earth magnets are awesome. All right, so back to business. All right, so here we go. This is my little work pad. I'm going to be removing this for a sec. Put this out of the way. Now I'm going to put this on my clamp here and lock it in so it can work. Now, I've already taken out this mic. I've obviously taken this mic apart. And I've already measured out the transducer. And one of the reasons is that a big thing with me, and why I think when I work on these mics, why they came out so good, because then every mic I get, I measure the gap between the magnets, and the ribbon that sits in there that comes from factory is just installed by someone that's just working at the factory. Maybe they don't care, maybe they do, I don't know. But the massive difference between an R144 and a AEA or Royer or Kohl's or any high upper echelon ribbon company is those companies take a massive amount of care in how the ribbon's made, the corrugations, what the ribbon is, what the thickness of the ribbon is. Royer weighs the ribbons. They put that little piece of foil on some little scale and they measure it, so every single ribbon is cut the same length and the measurement is the same length. They want the same measurement in between. When you get to AEA and they're using, but they probably have original RCA corrugators, those in itself are going to cut a ribbon that's going to have quality every single time in there. And that's why you pay a lot of money for those mics, I believe. All these mics are generally the same, but it comes down to the ribbon. So when I offer you this service of telling you I'm going to make these mics sound like $1,000 ribbon mic or more, it's because I have a confidence in the way I corrugate this and how I'm going to cut this closer to the magnets, which is going to add 2 to 3 dBs of room. Now, if you're learning and you want to get into this, hopefully you can learn from some of this, but you definitely got to educate yourself on all the different ways of doing it. And even though you can go online and probably spend, you know, $200 or $300 to buy a kit, get some foil, and you get some corrugators, you'll find yourself running into a few obstacles as far as the quality of not only the ribbon you're cutting, but how to cut the ribbon. And it's a thing. But I will say, if you're one of those dudes that want to get into something, or girls, because there's a few women out there, and I know they're really great engineers, definitely watch my video, but there's a slew of other videos out there. So, all right, so here's our ribbon. I removed the ribbon. Now, I'm going to show you something that I don't think I've done before. I've cut the ribbon, but I'm actually going to show you corrugating it. So, I have one little piece of paper left. Now, I get the ribbon in bulk. And what I do is I'll get a big sheet and I'll cut it down. This looks like there's enough to do one more ribbon out of this. Now, this actually came down to where there's nothing, so I had to put this on a new piece of paper. And so now I'm going to cut this last ribbon on this last piece of paper. But I want to show you an example. So I measured this out, and like I said, for whatever reason, the reason every mic has, I can't cut 20 ribbons and then put them in these mics because the gap is always different. I don't think that MXL does this on purpose, but the magnets coming from China, the thickness of them varies all the time. So this one happens to be, let's see what I'll just measure it right now with you here with me. All right. Oh, it tells you how strong that magnet is. It's just got stuck to that. Holy moly, hold on. Okay. So we're gonna measure the gap now. A little Home Depot tool here. I'm gonna turn it on. Now I want to know what the gap is. So this is the right device for doing that. I'm gonna make a guess, which I think it was. I make a guess. I already measured it a while ago, but I think what I remembered it was about 520 or 5.20. Use either 5 millimeter to 520 to 530 millimeters. So it's at 0 right now. I don't know if you can see that. Now I'm going to put this down, and then I have to kind of hold my hand above it, or this thing's going to fly into the magnets. I'm going to measure the gap. This one looks like it's pretty big. It's almost 5.5. That is pretty big. 540. Okay, so it's almost 5.5 millimeters. And what I want to do is, so that's 5.5 millimeters, and I have the ribbon that this came in. And even though that's massive, this ribbon is way malnourished in there. So when you buy it, this ribbon is just made to get the job done, but it's almost like, man, like a millimeter difference, whatever it is. So when I'm gonna cut my ribbon, I think this ribbon, so when you buy these, that's why I make a big deal about upgrading it, because this ribbon is too small for that microphone. I don't know if you can see that or not. When it fits in there, look at it. I mean, it's almost like you can move that around in there. It's so loose. So when I cut a ribbon, I want to cut it down to, so if this is like 5.40 millimeters, I'm going to try to cut this down to about 5 millimeters. I'm going to make a guess that is probably like 4 millimeters. So I'm cutting it and adding maybe 1 millimeter of gap between there. So let me see here. Get this dialed in. Hold on one second. Okay, hold on one second. All right, so once again, that is the ribbon that it came in. It's just, I mean, that's just like crazy gap there, which is not good. Well, actually, I'll keep this, so I'll use it as an example. So now what I want to do is I want to cut this piece to now fit in there better. So I measure that out at about 5.40 millimeters, almost 5.5 millimeters. I'm going to cut this down to 5 millimeters. And that leaves about, 0.20 on each side. So I'm getting it as close as I can there. What I can't control is this straight. And most of the time it is, yes, but I'm going to give myself a little bit of wiggle room, because at once I didn't make this mic. Two, I think you can get them laser cut and stuff, like some companies do that, but I'm going to do this by hand because I just want to do it by hand, and I think it sounds better. So let me cut this for you right now. So I'm going to move everything away, get out my razor blade, figure out what I'm going to do. So I'm measuring this out to 5 millimeters. Let me get my pen. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is, obviously, this was the last piece, and I had to remount it in this paper to cut it. I can't really cut the ribbon on that edge, so I got to make a new edge right there. I got my razor blades and my little glass shot. And then get my cool ruler. Now, I just want to cut this edge so I can have a nice clean cut. But I don't want to take too much off it, so I'm just kind of eyeballing it just to take off a little bit of the ribbon, because I'm trying to salvage this one, but I have to get a clean edge. So I'm going to cut this. Give me 1 second here. Can't look at the camera, before I cut it. My lighting's all wrong because I have the camera in there, so give me 1 second. Got to make sure I got good lighting here. So the ribbon is coming almost a little bit over this edge. You can't really tell, but I can see the edge of the ribbon right there. And the reason I'm cutting off the edges, I want to have a nice clean cut when I measure it. And also, because I remounted it on paper, I don't cut the ribbon unless one edge is cut. And that's what I'm doing right here. Just gotta do it really slow. All right. And let you know too about the technique of cutting the ribbon. And this is something I'm just sharing with you because, I mean, there's no, you know, I'm Superman or whatever. When I cut the ribbon and I'm holding the razor blade, and I'll use, I don't want to put my hand in front because it's a razor blade. If this is the ribbon and I want to cut this, I bring the blade in so I make my first cut at the top. And as I bring it in, I almost bring it down. So as I'm cutting, and this is something you'll find out after you cut a lot of ribbon, this paper is a terror to work with sometimes, and it snags. And if you don't have sharp razor blades, if that paper messes up, it messes up the foil, and it's $100. You can't ruin your foil because it's so expensive now. So what I do is I usually make a stab into the paper, into the ribbon, and then I lower this angle down as I pull across. Anything that comes up or snags, I'm kind of cutting it here, and then as it's dragging across, I'm cutting it some more. So that's a little Manny technique. But once again, even though I've done this a bunch of times, I can still screw this up. So it's definitely something you have to get practice at. And you have all these techniques I'm showing you, no one showed me. I just learned it. So I'm trying to save you some time if you ever want to cut ribbons. So then what I do is, now that I've cut that, I'm going to make one more cut up here. So now I've taken that apart. I have these little plastic tweezers here, and I'll be able to show you. So we don't need this. Oh, that one broke. Holy smokes, it broke. That's what's the bummer about these. They break. So it looks like I got one. All right, that's broken. This one is not broken. So I grab that little piece that's trash. That's just paper. And I wanted to show you what I cut. Give me a second. This is totally not action-packed. I'm sorry. So that is what I cut, if you can see that. All right, so the reason that is useless, that is nothing, but what it did is it gave me a clean cut here, and it was done by the ruler, so I know this is going to be straight. And that's going to be my starting point of when I take the measurement to get the ribbon going. So I'm not going to totally put my razor blade away, just be safe. It's away from magnets, it's not going to stick on anything. Now, this gap of the microphone here, which was 5.40, almost 5.5 millimeters. The ribbon that came in this, I'm going to assume, even though that's 5.5 millimeters, that's probably 4. I mean, so there's almost like a 1.5 millimeters of magnet space that you could occupy with a ribbon, which is going to help the sound. So when you get this mic, and it would have been a stock mic out of the box, it probably would sound good. I do think these mics sound good even as they are. But also the ribbon was almost hanging out of that. It was like sagging in there. So they don't come with not only a high-grade aluminum, it was a little bit of a strange kind of plasticky aluminum. The ribbon is just hanging in there like a hammock, and it's not really doing its job. This ribbon is also too small. It's almost 1.5 millimeters too small to fit in there. So what my goal is to put a nice high quality ribbon in there, get it closer to the magnets, install it. Now this mic is $1 million, or I should say worth the cost of buying it and having Manny do it, but it's competitive. Next competitors will be like R84s, which are like $900 to $1,000. And this mic is definitely competitive with that. And like I said, I've had producers that have, you know, favored these mics over some of the other high quality mics out there. And also I'm using, this is the original foil. I'm going to say this is probably 1.8. and the millimeters. And the one I'm going to be using is going to be 2.5, because I'm basically wanting this to become just high quality. I want it to last, and I'm giving it to people that I just want them to use it. Coals are like, if you look at them, they blow, and they cost, for a pair, $3,200, and we're not in that market right now. So I've measured this out, and now I want to try to get out of this, and also, I know I'm keep on going backwards. I know we want to get to business, but this is about maybe 4 inches. This is 2. And when you cut ribbons, you cannot cut them exactly to the length, because you're going to corrugate this, and you want to have a little bit of room to wiggle. So if I install this ribbon, and this is 4 inches, and even though I may have a little bit hanging over the edge, I have some room to move the ribbon back and forth in there in case this gets snagged, or maybe when I cut it there's a little damage, and it happens all the time. So you have to cut it with a little bit of an excess. Yeah, it costs a lot of money. It could be a waste of ribbon, but at this point, I'm not looking to, I just want a high quality ribbon cut well in there. And if there is a surplus of 2 inches to make sure that I could have a better cut, then that's just what it is. Real quick Pellegrin break. I'm live. I don't have time to edit out my drinking. All right. So I'm going to measure this. So it's 5.4 was the gap. And I'm going to do this at 5 millimeters. So I'm going to mark it to the edge. And this is just my way of doing it. There's probably another way you can do it. You can measure that out and put a mark there, and measure it out and put a mark there. I just don't. I physically just run this down, and I make a dot right on the edge. Do it again. Do it again. Now, this is starting to thin down. I don't know how much I'm going to get there. I'll do it. It's probably the last point I'll get it, because that gets too thin. So then I'm going to go back in the middle of that, just to make sure. Put a dot there. In between that dot, I'm going to put another one. And this is all just about a variable of, like, if I put a bunch of dots and I line up the ruler, it's going to give me a good idea where that is. Hold on a second. All right, I have these little dots. I don't know if you can see them or not. Now, one important thing which I learned from cutting ribbons is if you watch, there's some videos on YouTube you can check out. I think it's AEA does one and Royer does one. The AEA one, I was shocked for a lot of years. I would not even glue them. I'd put the ribbon in. No, I'd glue one side. I'd glue the top, put the ribbon, and then cut it. But then I realized that there is a possibility of the ribbon slipping in here. And then I remembered I saw the AEA. What's up, Boise? You're up late. How's it going? So, and then what I realized, I was like, oh my God, in that video, there's a lesson in those videos already. So AEA glues it here, and then they glue it there. And I didn't understand that when I first started, but then now after cutting a boatload of ribbons, I'm like, oh my God, that is so smart, because that keeps, as I'm cutting this, the ribbon is not going to fall out of grace of this initial cut that I did, because it's glued in there and it's glued in there. Once I've cut the ribbon, I'm going to then get the razor blade. I'm going to snap off the glue part there, snap off the glue part there, and what I'm left with is a ribbon that's free to move around and be put in a mic. All right. My wife thought I was coming home about 20 minutes ago. Sorry, babe. I'm live. Okay, so as the Three Stooges say, give me some room, or elbow room. Okay, so I'm gonna line up my ruler with those dots, and because I did a bunch of them, it's just gonna give me a good eye of where this is. Now it's gonna get thinner there, but I'm not too worried about it, because This ribbon is long enough because it's like 4 inches. So I don't know if you can see it, but just kind of line them up on the dots. And there is a little bit of wiggle room where I can go either less or more, and it's going to be fine. Okay, that looks about right. Okay, so that's going to be my cut. I get it right there. Okay. All right. Whew. Rolling a joint. I know, right? Oh, you're rolling a joint? All right, Jay. Is that Jaybird? Or Jared? Sorry, I have my glasses on, but maybe you should change your name to Jaybird. Roll that joint, man. This is non-action packed. All right, so I'm gonna cut it. I got a new razor blade. It's pretty good. Now, once again, when I cut it, I'm gonna be putting the razor blade in, and as I drag it slowly across, I'm lowering it. So as I'm cutting, any paper that's gonna want to fly up or tweak out, the razor blade is I'm almost getting like 2 cuts out of 1 cut. And I learned that I was snagging paper, and I go, why? And then as I realized, when I do a lower cut, I would not have that paper snagging. So now I'm gonna do my cut. Concentration. Let me make sure I got my lights going on here. Lighting is important. All right. Here we go. Son of a bitch, I think I moved it there. We don't want to do that. Okay. Cutting it slowly. Just don't want to tear it. Got 1 shot. Okay. So this board that I'm cutting on too is self-healing, which is some more black magic. You can cut it all you want, and it doesn't really, I cut that, I see the line, then it's gone. It's weird. All right, so now, because I have a glue there and I have a glue there, I want to release this because I won't be able to get the ribbon out unless I cut it. So I'm just going to do a little weird stagger cut there. That little piece that's left over is pretty much going to be useless. Unless I was doing a buyer 160 or something like that. Well, I don't think that would even work for that. Actually, I'll keep it. Maybe I could get a 160 out of that. So put that over there. Holy moly. So I went live, and now that I went live, I can't stop. I can't be like, hey, everyone, I'm just tired. Now I'm going to go home. It's 11:30 in LA. But my homie in Boise, what are you over there, man? That's, what, 1? 12:30? Okay, I got the wrong tweezers. I need plastic tweezers. Right here, so... Oh, and what am I talking about? I didn't do the last cut. So then, I know because I glued this, it's probably about right there. So I'm just going to make a cut there. There it goes. And as you can tell, it just flies apart. Let's put my razor blade back in its safety shot jar. In the old days, that would have been Gastadores with some squirt. I would add a squirt chaser. If you've not done that and you drink, that's a good one. I haven't drank since 2008, so. Hey, UK, good morning, mate. How's it going? I'm fine. I'm talking to myself. Okay, so now we got the ribbon situated. Now we're gonna corrugate it. And just to give you an idea, I don't know if you can see that, but the cut that I did compared to the original one, let me see if I can even get this off this. I don't know if you can even tell. It's massive different. I mean, that is just... So the original one I came in is just smaller, and even in dimension, it looks like maybe even a millimeter smaller than that. So not only is my ribbon going to be bigger, but it's going to add a few dBs of sound. And I had gears, because I've been doing this for a few years. I found gears that I liked, and so you can go online and you can buy these little gear you know, corrugating machines. I don't know if you can tell there's different colors of these ones, but these are different ones I bought. I'm only going to use these inside ones. These ones are a little bit bigger, which have been the ones that it came with, but I went searching around, and there's a shop in LA that you can buy all kinds of used stuff, and I found some bunch of gears, and these are the ones that fit, and these are the ones that I really like. These are the ones I use all the time, but I believe, and I don't know how much of a difference it would be, but they're finer than these ones here, and that's kind of my little swagger of what I'm doing is I'm making the gears finer, and in doing so, I believe it adds a little bit more mid-range, and the low one's tighter, and then by me being able to install the ribbon and tune it, that has a lot to do with how it looks inside the mic to make it sound good. You can get some microphones that the ribbons are too tight; they just don't sound good. And you can't make them too low because then they're just useless. Like when this mic came, the ribbon's too small and it's not tuned. So I'm going to insert this in here carefully. Now, I don't want this to break in front of everyone because I'll be looking pretty foolish. So I'm installing in there. Oh. So now these are tricky. It's really scary here because it sticks to the bottom. Okay. Ah, shit. I don't want this to pull the other direction. Keeps on pulling the other direction. Hold on now. If I break this, it's going to be a bummer. Alright, it didn't. Whew. Okay, so now I need to find... Oh, where's my other tweezers here? Hold on. Don't lose hope. Where are my other tweezers? Okay, we're just going to use these ones. These ones were broken, but I think I can get a little bit of use out of them. Okay, so now that I've corrugated the ribbon... Now, if you looked at when Royer does them or AEA, they stretch them out, and I'm going to have to stretch this guy out. Now, there is a possibility I could break this, and that's always scary. If I break it, I may have to continue this video later because that means I have to get a new sheet out. But right now, I'm going to lock this in here, and really carefully, if you can see, I'm going to stretch it. I don't want to tear the ribbon. And when you corrugate it, it's a massive amount of tension in this. And if I don't stretch it and I install it like that, when someone's using it, it'll just become lax a lot sooner. By me stretching it before I come in, and I'll blow on it as well. And if you look at the videos, they blow on them to relax them. Like anything, even if you built steel in cars, you know, they have to sometimes heat up the metal so the tension of when you cut it, and sometimes you have to heat it up so it doesn't tweak out and go back into its old shape. This has been tweaked out because it's been corrugated. It's kind of crunched up like an accordion. I'm stretching it out to kind of get that accordion opened up, so when I install it in the ribbon, it's a little bit more laxed, and it will hopefully withstand more abuse. So there he is. Manny just cut ribbon. You're watching me. All right. And like I said, if you're interested in this, these are R144s. You can get them at Sweetwater for 99 bucks. In the descriptions, I'm going to put my email, which is, if you're hearing me right now, it's distortionfelix@yahoo.com. Distortionfelix, the cat. You can email me. You can find me on Instagram, Manny's Mic Locker, or my company, OGMC. And I will, if you contact me before you order them, I'll give you my P.O. box. You can buy them from Sweetwater. You ship it to me for free from Sweetwater. And then my fee is $250. And what I'll do is I'll do everything you see here, test them, make sure it's great. And then for free shipping back to you, I'll insure it for the cost of the mic, and I'll insure it for the $250. And this way, you're not going to lose anything if it's destroyed in the mail or something happens, you're covered. So that's what I can offer to you. So now what I'm going to do now is I'm ready to install the ribbon. Whew. I know there's a lot of whoosh for me. This is always intense. Oh, I just folded that. Ouch. Never gets any easier, I gotta say. It's always a thing. And even though when I'm doing these descriptions as I'm working, usually I'd be in here alone and no one would be here and I can get the job done. But talking, that is something to be talking and then trying not to screw this up live. Oh, it says there's 14 people watching me right now. Yeah, cool. And also, I'm going to take some water before I do that. If you want to help me out in the thanks section, you can buy me a cup of coffee or Pellegrino. Holy smokes, that's good. All right, let's get to it. Thanks for your patience of sitting around. I'm not being dramatic with this. Every time I got to put a rib in, it's like if I was drinking, I would take a shot of tequila right now. Because this is the point where it's like, oh my God, just don't, excuse my French, fuck it up. All right, so now I'm dabbing alcohol. This is 100% alcohol. I'm putting it on both sides. Now, this alcohol is only going to be good for a little bit, so I'm putting a generous amount on there. It will dry it pretty quick. So now I'm going to install it. I'm going to unplug. I have the battery on the phone, so I'm going to move that out of the way so I can get both hands in here. Because this is the part that gets scary. Well, scary in the sense of if I screw it up, all this was kind of for nothing. So I'm going to lay it in. I'm going to drop it in. That's why I really like this angle. Hold on. I know it's really weird about how I want to put it in. Hold on. I know it's weird. My lighting's weird. I was like, what's wrong with this moment? Hold on. Let me just get the lighting better on this. Hold on a second. All right. Okay. That's the best that I can do with having a phone and a camera here. All right, so I'm going to dab it one more time with alcohol because I just spoke through it, probably drying and dripping off. All right, that's good. Now I'm going to act like you all are not here watching me and I just got to focus in on what I'm doing. Drop that in. Oh. All right, there you go. Holy smokes. Okay, so now I've got it in there. I've got a little bit of time to work because the alcohol is still wet. I don't think that is totally straight, but I'm going to try to make it straight. Oh, that's scary. I don't like that. Okay, there it goes. Okay, so I'm getting in there. I want the alcohol to kind of work a little bit. And I gotta move this a little bit because I can't tell how straight it is. So if I take it out of range, you can tell it's curving in the bottom. I gotta get it in the ballpark. I'll be able to still wiggle that later. But what I don't want to do is pull it down too much, because that is a little bit of my, yes, so there. You can tell it's like, whew, just stay there. Will you just stay up there? Hold on. Okay, that's crooked. Son of a gun. All right. Now what I want this ribbon is to be as close as you can. Now that looks straight. Okay, so now I'm gonna freeze frame this right now. So I got the ribbon in. It looks pretty straight. I'm more worried about the straightness on this end because I'll be able to do this later, but I need to lock in this side before the alcohol dries or I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble here. So this is this is the side that has the plastic, which is gonna be the positive. So I'm gonna drop this in. I can't see where the screws are, but you can tell the ribbon moved. Don't move on me, stay in one place. And then now I'm gonna put the screw in. Oh, now this is the tricky part. I have to put the screw through this hook. And then I bring the hook with the ribbon in it, which is gonna be the positive. Now this is the negative. I don't want that to fly out into the magnet. There it goes in. So I'm gonna screw this in now. I'm not gonna go down all the way with this and make it tight. Because if you see me talk about this before, what happens is I still want a little wiggle room in that to move. If I crank this one down tight, it lifts up that plate. And when I put this one in, it leaves a bow, and the ribbon goes right in between there, and I don't want that ribbon to move around. So now I've got to do the next screw. Let's see here. All right, that one went in good. So I got at least, I've done this enough where this is straight. So what I'm doing is I gotta put the screw in, but I'm using my finger to protect the screwdriver from flying into the magnets in the middle of the ribbon. So I'm putting this down. Even though I can't see it, I'm just feeling the screwdriver in there because I don't want the screwdriver to slip. So I'm going to tighten this barely to where it barely locks in. I'm not cranking it. Hold on, I feel it's getting there. Okay, just got there. So then I'm going to move it over to this one, put it in the screwdriver, lock it in. Now this one I'm going to crank because I've already got one side in. So tight. One more time, I'm going to do this one tight again. Make sure it's in there. Tight. Okay, cool. So now I got that in there. So you could tell by looking at this, and I hope you can tell, that is pretty awesome. The ribbon is almost against the magnet compared to, I think I already threw it away. Do I have it still here? Oh yeah, it's already been destroyed in the trash. But anyways, I showed you earlier, the ribbon that came in was really small. So now I have a little bit more wiggle room. So give me a second. I'm going to take this out of your view because I have to put it against the light to see how close I am, if this ribbon needs to be moved around. That looks almost spot on, but it is crooked on the bottom. All right. Now let's see. I have a question. Maybe something like a 400 watt light dimmer. I mean, yeah, but see, the thing is, I am trying to film this. Usually my light would be pretty much right on the unit. So I'm kind of, these lights are killer and I really love them, but I'm also sharing airspace with the camera. Okay. So my feeling is this is crooked and I've already got, that looks really great. And that's what I said was gonna happen. Once you get it locked in, that one side's important. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try to straighten out the bottom. Luckily enough, because I'm using the alcohol, I have a little bit of wiggle room. So I'm gonna try to move this around a little bit. There it goes. Looks a little bit better. So I'm kind of folding it around the edge. Now I can see right now that extra length I have is flipped up under there, and that's a little scary because if I start to cut it or move it, it could snag. Let me just check this in the light real quick to make sure it's straight. Yeah, looks pretty good. So what I do is I just take it up to the light, and if you can see my hand, the light shines to the bottom and I can see how straight it is. And I'm just wanting to get as close as I can to the magnets. And there is some wiggle room, like to go this way, to go this way. And right now, I think that's fair to say that that's good. So now I'm going to put on the brass clamp. And grab this. And these little tools I'm using are from a Gundam model kit. I just love these. I think in my whole course of making mics, I've used 2 sets of Gundams, and I kind of wore out the first set. So then I go, oh, I'll buy a new set, and then I come to find out I don't like the new set. So then I'm using the original set. So I don't know if you can tell, but like they're totally tweaked out. Like when I hold a screw really tight, it's bent the tips of these. But for whatever reason, man, I really dig them. So now here comes another scary part, is I've got to get these screws into that brass plate, and hopefully that brass plate is in a good spot. I almost lost that screw. Don't want to lose a screw right now. Okay, so I'm gonna, the screw stuck to the magnet. I don't want that. Okay. Ah, shit. Oh my God, that almost flew into the mic. Hold on. Whew. Oh my God, this is... What am I doing? I must have this screw wrong. Hold on. Oh shit. See, it just flew out of my hand. Hold on a second. Alright. Well, I keep the studio clean. I found it easy. It just flew onto the floor that fast. Your life goes before your eyes. So I think this plate is not straight. What I'm hoping is it doesn't move the move the foil. Holy smokes, that was scary. Alright, so this is what happens every fucking mic I do it. There's some kind of life event of... Okay, so I think that's good. And I'm using my fingers to block, as you can tell. Okay. Using my fingers to block the screwdriver from flying into the magnets, or the screw to come out and fly into the magnets. Now, you just saw that just got pulled over to the side. When you get these microphones, a lot of times, this is not magnetized. I see dents in the middle of these, and I know that that's what happened when they were installing these mics in China. The screw flew off, stuck in the middle, but they pulled it off and they kept the ribbon. They're like, screw it, screw you Americans. So now I got to straighten this out. I feel like it's crooked. Yeah, that's gonna have to do it. I know a little bit. See, it's stuck again. Whew. I know you can't tell. I'm totally sweating right now. I'm busting out the sweat. Okay, there it goes. Two thoughts. Could you use a tiny alligator clip clamps to hold the brass plate? You could do something to hold it, but the problem is, until you put the screws in, that plate needs to be movable. And if even when I lock it in with my finger, it's such a fine line of the foil sticking to the transducer or the foil sticking to the plate. And as I go to do this, it's a disaster waiting to happen. So when I lock that in, even with my finger, I gotta have it so it's movable. I guess you could probably get in there. I'm not sure. I have small clips, but because it's a working situation, I haven't been able to feel comfortable enough to do that. But maybe I'll try. Maybe the next time I do this, I'll try to somehow clamp that clamp in. But the biggest deal is because I'm working, oh, that's the wrong one. Because I'm working, 1 second here, there it is. Because I'm working with the camera in front of me, I don't have where the camera's looking down is where my head would usually be. And I could see that screw going in, so I have the light on it. It makes it a lot easier. This is almost like working on a car from, the trunk. I'm trying to get everything in, so I'm trying to get this in there. Whew. I am just a ball of sweat today. That is scary. I'm afraid that's gonna fly into the mic. Put my light up here. There it goes. Whew, don't fly into the mic. This screw is moving around. That is not good. All right, it took. Sorry about blocking your view. I'm breaking out in a cold sweat here, trying to get this done, trying not to screw it up, trying to be live, trying to be smart, trying to not screw up Ricardo's mic. Okay, whew, I got it. Holy smokes, Batman. Well, that looks pretty good. So, I like the way that looks. That looks good. All right, so let me blow it on the backside. Oh shit, don't want to do that yet. So now I have one more problem. Oh my God, I have this problem. There is a piece of the ribbon stuck to the back here. And I have to get that off without ruining the microphone. Hold on. Oh my God. It is back here. Hold on. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna pull that off. Whew. That was scary. Give me 1 second to blow on this. I like that. Actually, I don't like that. Oh, son of a gun. As you can tell, it's slightly twisted. That is, I'm sure to the most part it would be okay, but for me, this is not okay. So after I've just went through all that with you, aloha, Landon. My God, it's Lando. Everyone say hello to Lando. That guy, I worked in Hawaii for off and on for about 8 years. Lando would always hook me up with the greatest time. 3 in the morning, we'd be out in Honolulu having a drink, and oh my God, you know, I remember I had to stay at the Ohana East, and he got me a local. I think he went to the counter and told the lady something, and she gave me the local rate, or the local rate. Landon, he is one of the greatest artists. Do yourself a favor for Landon, if you have some music on your YouTube. Or if you're ever going to Hawaii, Landon is the man. All right, so what I'm doing right now is a little bit of a tweak on this. I'm going to have to take off that clamp. I know we just went through that whole thing of doing it. I'm not really happy with the length of that, the way the ribbon looks, and I'm going to need to move the ribbon again. So this is a little bit of a bummer, but it's just what comes with the territory. I don't want this screw to fly off. You're going to see it. Yep, I'm going to fly off. Hold on. Whew. That screw is ready to fly out of my hand. This has been such a problem. Ah, shoot. I just flew out of my hand again. Well, this was interesting again. Where did it go? My God. I just lost a screw in front of everyone. I think I see it. Hold on. Hold on, everyone. Hold your horses. I'm around here like a crack dealer looking for screws. All right, well, I will find that in a second. Let's get back to this. Oh, my God. You guys all saw that? I didn't see that. I'm looking for the screw. It's right there. It's stuck to the side. I know. I went down. I'm like, oh, I had another one I can use, but that's how crazy this is. So I don't want this to... Oh, my God. See, this is Ribbon Mike Mayhem. Whose idea was it to go live and show everyone that I'm a badass to change a ribbon? And it is just like 3 stooges over here. Or 1 stooge. Okay, so let me get this going here. Yeah, this is, you know, when you talk about changing a ribbon in a mic, even if it was a vintage microphone, it's just, it's tough, man. You have to have a lot of patience. So I need to rip this off without ruining that ribbon. Whew, got it. So as you can tell, it's slightly twisted there. I don't really like that. And I'll be honest with you, if I let it go like that, it would not really affect the sound. It would still sound really good, but what I don't like about that is as the mic gets older and that ribbon is moving down and down and down, that twist and distortion of the ribbon in the long run is not going to be a good deal for me. If I'm going to make a mic, I'm going to make it sick, and I have to. So what I need to do now is wet it again with the alcohol so I can move it. And since I've already cut it, I don't have room to really, I can't screw this up now. I'll have to do it all again. So I didn't really like the way it was sitting. And I'm just trying to make it sit in there a little bit better. There it goes. I think I just got it. Whew. Yeah, that was it. So I wet it again, and I straightened out the ribbon again. Because I think when you put the plate in, you start moving around, you take a chance of distorting the ribbon. If you really care about this and you want to do a good job, You just got to do a good job. There's no messing around here. Especially since I'm live with all you all here, I can't really screw this up. I mean, I can screw this up. You just saw me. So I'm going to put this on. Oh my God, don't drop that. Ooh. Okay, that looks pretty good. Holy smokes. Whose idea once again was this to do a live video? Oh my God. Yeah, if you guys can add and like, if anybody wants to buy me a Pellegrino or a coffee, you can hit the thanks icon under there and you can get me a coffee. Coffee maybe would not be the right thing right now for me. Oh shit, hold on. Oof. Oomph. I think in Hawaii they go oomph when they're ready to do war. Right, Lando? Is it oomph? Or it shoots. Shoots is a good thing. Oh, fuck. Hold on. Oh, my God. This is, like, nerve-wracking. Okay, I think that went in. Holy smokes. Holy cows. You know, I have to say holy cows and stuff like that because I have a bad mouth and I say fuck a lot. Fuck that shit. And my wife got mad at me, so I've gotten in the habit of saying other things except bad words. So if you think it's weird, I'm just trying to be a good guy here. Okay, so if you hear me say holy cows, Batman, I really want to say fucking shit. Fuck that shit. Fuck this. See, I've already changed my persona now. Now I'm just like an asshole guy. All right, how much coffee in LA? You know, it's expensive. I actually make my own coffee. I get Don Francisco's. Actually, if you look up on my YouTube, I actually have Manny making coffee in there. And I'll show you my whole routine of I use an old style percolator and I put espresso in it. So I get juiced up, but it is expensive. Well, the nylon screws are important. And I actually had a bunch of nylon screws when I made my first prototypes. But the problem with the nylon screws... Okay, now I'm going to tighten this bad boy. Hold on. Is that these screws are metal and they've got to go into the metal transducer. And technically these screws... Okay, whew, I got it. So these screws are technically sending a negative wave. When those screws go into there, into the bottom, they make this ribbon mic work. If I put plastic screws in there or nylon, I'm not sure if the contact of that plate to the bottom would ensure a good contact as opposed to putting metal screws, because now you've completed a full circle of the plate is holding the ribbon in, the screws are holding the plate in, the screws are going into the transducer, the plate's going into the transducer, and this is all negative. But like this one on the end, these metal screws too have to be metal because this is the ground. That wire that's coming in there is the ground that's going into that metal, and that ground is coming up all the way and going into here. So there is a little bit of some stuff going in there, you know. But I want to say to Lando, man, give me a call sometime, dude. Lando's, and it was an amazing band called the Jump Offs, and he's one of my favorite singers. It's funny, there's a band called Cage the Elephant. Everybody loves that band. I felt like Lando was doing them way before there was Cage. His band sounded like Cage the Elephant probably 10 years before Cage the Elephant came out. And I think that Lando is one of the greatest artists that lives in Hawaii, you know? And I would, Lando, I'd really love to have you come make another record with me in LA, man. You know, it would be great to have you back. Okay, so now I've got this ribbon in order. Okay, let me blow on it. Hold on. Yeah. If you can tell, that looks pretty good. I like the tension. It's straight. And once again, the gap, there's not a big gap there. This is now, to me, high quality ribbon, high quality cut, high quality corrugation, and the tension of this mic is excellent. And now this mic is going to be 2-3 dBs louder. It's going to have better tone. And once again, I just turned a $99 mic into like a $1,200 ribbon. The care that you saw me do there is what all the big companies do that are high quality ribbons. And like in China, nothing against that. They made this, and you can't make this in America anymore. All this stuff, you can't make this anymore. It's too expensive. And the fact that they can make this and you can order this and it's cheap, cost-wise, it gets the job done. But now that you have the high quality ribbon in there, now you've completed the full circle of making a $99 mic sound like a $1,200 ribbon. That's exactly what I just did. And you saw me, I mean, how much time are we on this clock? Whew, 75 minutes. Oh my God. And that's like, that wasn't even all of it because I already spent time taking it apart. Lando, yes, man, come back to LA, dude. Maybe I can go to Dimitri's. Let's figure it out, man. Dimitri's has a super sick studio called the Rainforest Room in Hawaii, and we can go do something up there, Lando. That would probably be the best, dude. Okay, so let's wrap this up. When I got this mic, it had these screens. These screens are, hold on, let me get this light down there. These screens are going to protect the ribbon. And even though this has a little bit of a sound thing, it keeps the ribbon from bouncing in or out. So there's going to be one on the top and one on the bottom. And like I said, when I got them and that ribbon was just kind of hanging like a hammock in there, that's not good because the bottom of the ribbon, if it was laying down, would probably be touching this screen, and that's not good. Whew. Okay, it's Pellegrino time. Hold on a second. Ooh, I just hit it. Do you see that? And the mic's still good. Okay, hold on a second. If you are interested in this, once again in the descriptions, I'll leave you my email. You can buy these for $99. Contact me before you buy them, so this way you can get my P.O. box and you can send them free from Sweetwater. I recommend getting a pair because I can do both at the same time and I can check them, and usually that's a better way to cut the ribbons all at one time for a pair. And I can't say it's a match pair because there's a little bit of inconsistency in this, but to the most part, getting my attention, doing this at one time, I see what the tension is, a ribbon. I can put them back to back, and it's just a better way to doing it. So, okay, so now I'm going to install these back on it. When I got these, they had tape that was holding them on, and I'm going to put new tape on it. Now, I have the same tape that they use in these mics, and it actually works really great. I think this is just like packing tape. So I'm going to measure this out, and I already know that transducer is 2 inches. I've been doing this long enough to just know, like, that's why I love these boards, because they have measurements all along it and I can just cut them. So I'm going to cut the top of this, pull that off. I'm going to go down about 2 inches, cut it off. Now I'm going to use this tape again because you know how tape is always a son of a gun to find the end. So I just fold the end so I can always find it. Put that away. Okay, so I've got 4 strips here. For whatever reason, you think this would be 2 inches across. It's not. It's always short of that. So even though I have the lines to cut it, since I have 4 sizes, I'm going to cut it a little bit closer so each strip of tape is a little bit more even. I just cut my thumb right now. Great. All right, cut it right there. Did I cut it? I did. All right. Okay, how many people? We got 11. We lost someone along the way. Did we lose you, Boise? Boise went to bed. I know you did. And then you got Honolulu. He's 3 hours behind us. It's like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock over there. Like, you can still go out and get yourself a margarita. Damn. Oh, he's still there. Yeah, Boise in the house. Okay, so I cut these now. I'm going to put my razor blade back because I already cut my thumb on that. No blood. Now I'm going to pull these off, and I'm going to install the, once again, my other Gundam. This one I use for ripping off the tape. Okay, so I want to make these so once again they last And I just spilled alcohol on this, but I don't want to put this on it because I'm afraid that the alcohol will, God forbid, the ribbon stick to that. It'll stick to this metal. So let me just get a little bit of that off. Whew. These are both wet. Hold on a second. All right, just gonna blow these up. Okay, so put that tape right there. So I'm gonna install these wires back on it. And these are magnetized too, so they're gonna stick to the transducer with the magnets. Then I'm gonna get the tape, and I gotta do this on both sides. So I'm gonna install this. So there was tape on it when I got it. I'm almost putting the same tape. You can still see a little bit of the yellow residue where I removed the tape. And then I'm gonna just crease that on the side. All right. And that screen is technically protecting the ribbon from anything going in it, but also keeping the ribbon from flying out of it. If a high sound pressure was to hit it, this kind of is a little bit of a safeguard. So clamp that in. All right, so that looks pretty awesome. See, like I said, I wish you could say when I get these mics, it's a walk in the park. Holy smokes. Yeah, put the thumb in the alcohol. I did. Let's do that. Let's do it. So now I'm going to flip it over. Let's see here. Flip this around. Undo the clamp. Now you'll see on the back side, needs to have the same thing go on. Needs to have the screen on both sides. All right, so on the back side, looks excellent. That ribbon looks great there. Super close to the magnet. I got more dBs out of this ribbon. And I know I say that like I know what I'm talking about. It's been through trial and error, man. I've just done enough of these. I was shocked that once I got, and the reason it was an accident, a buddy of mine, I told him I was going to be cutting some ribbons, and he happened to have a bunch of Chinese ribbon mics. And we tested the mics before because I hadn't yet cut any ribbons. And we just wanted to, you know, hey, what did this sound like before we'll put the ribbon in it? So we tested it. I knew the ribbons didn't look good, but I can only hope that maybe my skill of cutting ribbon would work. So I spent a lot of time cutting ribbons before I even had a microphone to put them in. A weirdo. And we did a test, and we were blown away on how killer these mics. So every now and then I'd get these MXLs in, I'd re-ribbon them, and I just told my buddy, I go, you know what, dude? These mics may be some of the greatest ribbons I've ever used. And I'm a producer. Steve Albini showed me how to record, and I work with Eddie Kramer. I know what ribbons do. I can appreciate a ribbon mic. And these MXLs, they are smoking rad. Okay, and, to a certain point, I'm not going to be doing these. In all honesty, like, as soon as I make my own mic company, I don't think I'm going to be spending hours and hours doing these ribbons, because I'll probably be spending hours and hours on my own mic. Uh-oh, has to go. Dude, take care of yourself, man. Thanks for tuning in. I don't like that side because that has the tweak side. I want it to at least look cool. All right. That looks cool. All right, so that's both sides. Okay. Sorry about the breathing and the panting. I'm just like so much. What was I thinking? Doing this live on the spot. Jesus. I could fail in the privacy of my own studio. So there you go. So now I've done this mic. It looks pretty outstanding. The ribbon looks good. That is pretty much a beauty. Transformers in here. The wires run down the negative. This is the back side, so you can see where the screws come in. Flip it around. That is the negative coming up. and then you have the red positive coming up from the, this little bulb in here is probably protecting the transformer from being noisy. So that's why, so when you get these and they're made in China, even if you had this made in Los Angeles, it would be incredibly expensive. Even this little housing of the bars and going into this, it's almost unaffordable. So buy these while you can. Excuse me, just a little burp. And I can upgrade these for you and make a $99 mic sound like a $1,200 ribbon. So let's finish this off. So what I want to do is put the head on. Now when you put, now if you see right there, there's a little indentation. That will always match that indentation. So this will be the front, which would be positive, because figure eights are positive and then negative. So when I do this little clip in there and it's locked in, that's going to be the front end. So no matter what, that is what's happening. And even when I put on the next plate, it's got another indentation. So there's no way you can really, if you take it apart, there's really only one way to put it back together. So let me get these little screws back in. Oh, you son of a gun, you. Now I've got the last screws, and now you're going to give me a hard time? All right. And like I said, if you want to help Manny out, you can buy me a coffee. It's in the thanks section. You can get me a coffee, Pellegrino. You can send me $1. Send me 10 cents, anything. I'm begging. I'm an artist. What does that mean these days? It means that you're out of luck. You know, if you have a kid, don't put a guitar in his hands. You don't want him to be an artist. Actually, you do, but things are a lot different now. To make a living being an artist is almost impossible. Living in California is almost impossible. Lando knows. Living in Honolulu, it is really expensive. And you got to have a side gig. You got to have a job. I haven't had a job doing something else unless, I think it was 2005 or 6. My father had passed away, and my mom, before he passed away, my mom asked me if I would take care of him. And it meant that I had to close my studio. So I closed down my studio, and sadly, my dad died about 3 weeks later. And at that point, I was out of luck. I just lost my income. And I became a door guy at a bar called the Cha-Cha in Los Angeles. So I did that for about 6 months. I ate cans of tuna every day because that's what I could afford. And eventually I really lucked out and I found another spot and I was able to start my career again. So that looks pretty good. So now this is what's cool about these bottom parts. Once again, that indentation that I showed you will only permit this housing to go on one way. It's just locked in. It's not going to move. So that is going to be the front of the mic. And this is just going to screw on. Right. Right, that's lock in. That feels really good. Now I'm going to do a little extra process here that, bear with me. Hold on one second. I'm going to, well, I'm already out of your view anyways, but I'm definitely moving away from the view. Hold on a second. Whoa, woo, you saw that. I got it. Holy smokes. Oh my God. It is the Three Stooges. That is funny. You guys could all be screaming on the your phones. Manny, it's rolling away. I know, right? Oh my God. Look at another $10. What's going on, brother? I got a 20 spot there for my homie again. Jesus, dude, thank you. Thank you. All right, so I'm putting on my gloves, and I'll tell you why. These are super grip gloves. It's because when you get these are loose. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I just got another $10. I'm happening. These are always loose, and I just, once again, I just want to tighten it so it's tight. So that is perfect. So now that that's tight, you can't really do it with your hands. You can't really get a grip. And so once again, it's just doing a few things that at the end of the day makes a better mic. So now that I got it, the last thing I need to do is, where is my handy, there it is. Got my stickers, OGMC. And this tells me that I worked on it. And I've pretty much, you know, when they say when you're tagging like walls and stuff, you're not supposed to go over other people's graffiti. Oh my God! Thank you so much for that $5, Maddie, Matea, ready. I can barely see. I'm looking at my phone up. So thank you. Hold on a second. Let's give a heart there. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Everyone. Whew, you just saw me go through heck right now. So I'm going to put this on. It's going to line it up so it's on the figure 8. There it is. There is the OGMC. And thank you so much for that $5. That was wicked. Made my night. Everyone that hung out. Lando, if you're still there, for sure. So this is what the mic looks. So I just did a pair. Let me get the other one. Hold tight. All right. I see you. And actually, that's why I have this mat. So what you just saw happen doesn't happen, but I'm making my... So there's a pair. And I've just done these tonight for my friend. My friend in Costa Rica, maybe? I think he's somewhere like that. Ricardo. So this is it. He bought a pair of these. And you can go to Sweetwater. You buy them for 99 bucks. They're pretty cool. They come with a cool a carrying case. And they got a little mic clip in it. And once again, they're $99. And you just saw what I did to kind of go through them. So the process is, once I get done, this video gets uploaded, I'll put in the descriptions, my email. And also, if you look at any of my videos, even the last one, I think I took apart a Nady microphone. You can find all my information in there as well. Email me. Tell me you're interested in these. I'll give you my P.O. box. You then can go to Sweetwater for free. Buy from, if this is within the United States, send it from Sweetwater free to me. And then I'll upgrade these. And then I'll send them back to you. The total cost is $250 each mic. And I include the shipping back to you, ensuring the microphones and ensuring what you paid for the upgrade. And this way, if there's any issues with it, to my homie in the UK, if you're still there, it's usually about $70 extra, 70 to 80 to send it to the UK. At least when even sending it to Canada is a little bit expensive. So if you are living out of the country, we can get it to you. I can get it to you. It's just going to be a little bit more money. Do you think it's worth it? That is up to you. But I can tell you this much: for buying a pair of these and having me upgrade them is half the cost of an R84 AEA mic, and you get a pair. And are these durable? Yes, I've made them out of 2.5 ribbon thickness. I've corrugated them really fine. They're really durable. If you put these ribbons inside of a Royer, they would be almost identical. So yeah, there is a pride I take in how I cut these and how I put them in the mic, and you just witnessed what I went through to do it. If you're into this, and this is something you're like, oh, screw that, I can do it myself, God bless you. Everything you saw, I had to learn through trial and error. So hopefully what you see me doing can help you if you plan on doing that. And I would actually encourage you to go out and try it, but you have to have patience. And for every ribbon I cut in the old days, there'd be 1 or 2 failures of putting the ribbon in a mic. And you saw me doing like salvaging it and moving it, and like that took me a lot of years to be able to do that without like when I put that ribbon in this one and it was a little bit crooked, that is a moment where I could ruin the ribbon. I undo it, the ribbon tweaks, my thumb touches it, something happens. So you just have to have patience. You're gonna have failures, and I have to test these. If I test these and they don't sound as good as I want them, I will have to do what you just said, or I just showed you all over again. It's only because I have pride in these and I want these to be killer. So there you go. There's a pair of MXL R144s. Thank you all for doing on. I'm going to sign out. You can add me at Manny's Mic Locker on Instagram. My band's called the Chavez Ravine. And my other band's called Distortionfelix. My email, if you want to write me, is distortionfelix@yahoo.com. You can find that in the descriptions. My microphone company is called OGMC, Original Gravity Wave Microphone Company. I'm on Instagram. I have a new mic coming out that's about to get manufactured. It's a big deal in my life. It's costing a lot of money to make this happen, but the design I've worked on for a few years, and I do believe that this is going to be an awesome mic. I can't tell you too much more than that. It's not going to look like this. It's not going to look like most ribbon mics out there in the world, but it's going to be very special. So hopefully tomorrow, the next day, I'll do another video. I'm not sure what it will be, but that's a rundown. You saw it. If you witnessed it, cut a ribbon. Manny doesn't cut ribbons live, but I did it. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much. Lando. I hope I'm saying your name right. Matea? I want to say Mateus, but it's Maddie? Matea Refi. I hope I did it right, man. Yeah, thank you so much, man. For the you're sending me you're sending me enough to get Pellegrinos, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, everyone. We're gonna sign out right now. Thank you so much.